Everyone, welcome to another lesson. It's good to be back here today. This lesson we'll start to talk about JavaScript numbers. We've spent a considerable amount of time learning about different methods of working with strings in JavaScript, and we've been able to, work with different methods, write code and practicalize how those things work in our in the real life programs or code. And we've talked about a lot of different methods of working with string in JavaScript, which you can go back to check in the previous lessons that we've done together. But today we move to another entirely different story, still under Java, still in JavaScript, but another entirely different topics, which is JavaScript numbers. When you write program or when you work as a developer, you often come across working with different types of application that requires different specifications per time. And to be honest, numbers is one of the most important things that you always come across every now and then in your program or in your project. Just as string is also important because you come across it, every now and then. Think about when you want to, do the login, when you want to accept input from a user that requires their username and password. So password could be string only, it could be a combination of it. There are things that you may want to do like remove tree, a lot of things. So which makes this makes string a very important part of JavaScript and also numbers as well, as we are going to be seeing that in this lesson and subsequent lesson when we start talking about the different numbers method, just as we have the different strings methods in JavaScript. So let's dive in. JavaScript has only one type of number. Numbers can be written with or without decimal. So what does that mean? JavaScript has only one type of number. In some programming languages, there are different types of number like long, short, floating number. What I'm saying is this. Let me just quickly put up a simple document. Working JavaScript numbers. JavaScript numbers. Then we get paragraph JavaScript. That's only one type of numbers. Now, this is what I'm saying as regard the fact that JavaScript has only one type of number. In other programming language, you can have something like this, and they will say this is an integer. And if you have something like this, they say this is a float, or long or short, whether you have a long one or you have just a short one. But JavaScript only has one type of number, so it does not matter whether it's an integer to you that wrote it or is a floating string like this. So it only has one type of number. Now, extra large or extra small numbers can be written with scientific exponent notation. So if you have an extra large or extra small number, you can write them with scientific exponent notation, and this is what that means. So if you have a very large number, so you can do 2, 3e. So using exponential, you will see what this is going to give us. Document or write. We just pass a number, and then you can see that. Oh, sorry, I missed the B letter. You can see that at the back of my 1, 2, 3, I have 6 zeros to indicate that okay, this is large number. So instead of me to write 6 places at the back of 1, 2, 3, I was able to use the exponent function in order to achieve this. And I can as well say okay, if I want it before, I can just change the format. You can see here I'm putting a hyphen, and this is giving me an entirely different result and entirely different look. So this is how you use exponent for large, extra large, or small number using that exponential notation. JavaScript numbers are always 64-bit floating point. So which means that it does not matter whether you write it as a whole number or a floating number, which means that it does not matter if you have it this way or you have it this way. So it stores two numbers as a floating point. So JavaScript numbers are always 64-bit floating point. Unlike many other programming languages, JavaScript does not define different types of number, like I said earlier. So JavaScript does not do something like this one is an integer, this one is short, this one is long, floating point, it is, all those different classification of numbers that other programming languages does. JavaScript does not do that. JavaScript numbers are always double floating point. So in JavaScript, numbers are always stored as a floating point. So there are different things that you can do with numbers as you progress in this series, just as there are different things that one can do with string. I mean, the way we examine different strings method, there are different methods of working with numbers, so which we are going to be exploring in this series. But one thing that is certain is that JavaScript is sees number as a floating point, regardless of how you write them. They are always valid in JavaScript, which is the key thing that you should always know when you are working with JavaScript. So there are different aspects of JavaScript numbers that we are going to be examining in this series as we progress. But this is just an introduction to numbers in JavaScript. It's very fun working with numbers in JavaScript, as you yourself will find out as we progress in this series. So this is an introduction to JavaScript numbers. In the next lesson, we are going to be looking at another aspect of working with JavaScript numbers, and I can't wait to see you in that next lesson. Thank you, and I'll see you shortly.